instead of speaking English.
Hold that moment in your...
Hi, I was just listening to podcasts and I was using this device. By the way, how do you choose podcasts? Do you listen to anything that comes your way, or do you look for special features? Well, I was also confused in the beginning because I had to use some podcasts according to the levels of the learners. And during the language counseling sessions, people are not bothered about how we speak. It's more about spontaneity and the way we are confident while communicating. I'm going to suggest 4 or 5 podcast channels that really will help you, because these are learner-oriented podcasts. Along with that, I'll be giving you 2 guidelines. So these guidelines will help you how to go about it. I know that you're listening to several podcasts, but the ones that are learner-oriented will help you to understand certain things, and then you can listen to anything. Of course, you have to listen to anything that comes in English or the language that you really want to develop. I was actually confused about how to begin and the exact type of podcast that I have to include in my training sessions, but I have something for you. Are you ready? So I'll just play a part of this.
mind, because in this episode, we're going to slowly change what that moment means to you.
Okay,
All right,
so
without further ado,
as a learner, you may find it a bit confusing with the choices and the decisions you make. Initially, you can begin this way, even if you're not a beginner, because some of you are really working on articulation, enunciation, pronunciation. They don't just focus on grammar and boring sentences, grammatical structure. So are you ready? Shall I begin sharing the podcast with the links? The links are given in the description, but still, I'll be showing you the page also by the side of the screen so that you can locate it easily, along with the links in the description. Okay, I'm just making things really conducive and easier for you so that you will not lose track. The first one, you would have definitely heard of this particular channel, Speak English with Class. Yeah, this is the page. Here, of course, it's learner oriented. They speak about different topics. Generally, people speak about daily routine, but here they have presented it in a different way. And they don't explain too much. There are some channels that keep explaining the phrases and verbs, and many learners tell me, ma'am, it is a bit boring when things look like studying English. When you can really learn English, when things are presented that way, it becomes easier. Now, this is casual. You can listen to it as if it's a conversation. And if you ask me what are the kind of devices that you use, of course, I use the headset, the normal one that I showed in the previous video, and this one. You would have seen this, and there are different other devices. I'll tag this also in the video. It is clear, and I use this when nobody's around, when the atmosphere is fairly quiet. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, I'll get distracted, and many of you get distracted. And yes, you have to keep away the phone, stop doing other things. Suppose you're doing something very mild, in the sense if you're just paying attention to cutting vegetables or arranging something, and if you're able to focus on the content, then it's fine. And if nobody's around, if there isn't much distraction, people moving around, then it's okay. But otherwise, it's better to go for a headset or headphone, whatever is available. So this channel, whatever I've mentioned, is really useful. It's productive because they give a range of topics. They don't actually focus too much on grammar. It's on daily conversation, how we can use these very simple phrases in our daily conversation. Some phrases are really helpful. I know that you are reading a lot, you are listening to many conversational videos, but rarely we come across these kind of phrases. They also highlight the conversation at the bottom of the screen, but it's always important to pay attention, and of course the audio clarity is great. The second one, I'm sure that you're familiar with this one. That is exact name I'll give you, BBC Learning English. Many people have recommended this. This is also very productive, and they cover a range of topics. If you subscribe to the other channels created by BBC Learning English, or it can also be other topics, they will highlight the phrases. you would see that they have highlighted the phrases, the words, and sometimes they give you the meaning also. It's available on Facebook. If you want to learn just words, it's available on Facebook, and many of us are making it very easy for you to learn words, so please make use of all that. So here people speak about different topics. For example, how to speak about regrets. There are no proper structures or standardized rules to speak about something that you're going through or your experience, but they will help you with phrases. And you may not see the subtitles always. You can turn on the captions. You may not get to see the subtitles like the previous channel, Speak English with Class, but this can be a starter because different people come on screen and most of them are trainers, some of them are learners also. You can watch. And then there is something called the 6-minute podcast, 6-minute conversation. It's too fast in the sense you can of course reduce the pace of the video, but it's only for 6 minutes. And you can spare 6 minutes every time to just listen to something. So this is how the page looks. You can spare 6 minutes if you don't have the time to read. One more thing that you have to remember, this is the first guideline. Don't make things too easy for you. Because when you make things easy for you, you may not come out of your comfort zone. If you want things to come to you and if you really want everything to be put into your mouth, how will you create sentences and speak? Right? So that is also one thing that we never had access to, at least my generation when we were learning, and that's why we took effort. But today I see many people getting spoon-fed. Okay, the next channel, are you ready? The next one is Podcast Speak English. Here also you will get learner-oriented sessions. I'm not doing any promotion, but these are some of the things that I play. They focus on phrases. They focus on certain aspects of grammar and everything. It's visible when you play the video itself, you will know what they are focusing on. And of course, they discuss different contexts. It will be easier for you.
Has the job to exterminate or to delete or eliminate different types of bugs or pests.
So an exterminator is...
They always deal with general topics, and here they have more of titles on the page. So this particular page focuses on conversation from everyday life, but you will not get to see anybody speaking to you on screen. You may have to read. Along with reading, you will have to listen and then understand what they're trying to speak about. Once you listen to a podcast, don't forget about it. Like, you do this activity, tell yourself what you understood. You don't have to use the exact words, but you have to tell yourself what you really understood so that your spontaneity and flow also develops. What is the use of just listening to something and not being able to at least communicate about it? So this particular channel is different, and I don't always use videos from this channel because learners will have to look at the subtitles, and some of them may just end up reading. They may not pay attention to the conversation. If at all I have to use videos from this particular channel, I'll not show the screen. I'll ask them to listen. And of course, they are using the American accent. Some of you may not be comfortable with that. Whichever accent it is very clear and audible. So you can make use of it. So many people are using it, but the only thing is you may feel that the page looks like an AI page where they have created two people having conversations with a mic in the center. They are not moving. It's just one picture that you get to see along with the conversation. You will not have you may not have many pictures popping in between. But what is the purpose of listening to a podcast? Enhance your listening skills, to pay attention to articulation, and of course learn something. So if you keep watching the visuals, what will happen? Your focus will be there. That is why they have created these kind of podcasts. This particular podcast is for people who get distracted also, because if you get distracted watching visuals, you can watch these. Here they don't have many visuals, they don't have integrated videos or such kind of things.
Keyboard and desk speakers. I have no idea what you were talking about.
This is also similar to the previous one that I mentioned, where you have the subtitles. You may have to focus on that whenever you feel distracted. It's purely learner oriented, in the sense you will not have any visuals. You have to focus a lot. It's just like listening to something without visuals. You will not keep looking at the image here that's shown here, right? Okay, so these are some of the channels that you can refer to initially in the beginning, but remember to follow the guidelines. Do not always put yourself in the comfort zone. It's not going to help you. You have to come out of it in the sense at least 6 minutes, 15 minutes, you have to create something, create your sentences. The second thing is you can get used to topics from everyday life, because real conversation, real life elements will not be similar to whatever is created here. These are learner-oriented sessions or maybe podcasts where people will go slow. When you speak to native speakers of English, you may not understand everything. But of course, if you speak to people who are good with articulation, you will understand 95% of it. Now, our objective is not to understand them. It's to learn the language. And for that, you have to work on your articulation and the way you communicate. Right? And that is why you're here. That is why you're watching my channel and different other channels. For that, you have to take the extra step of speaking about what you understood. Speak to yourself. Just speak to yourself what you understood. That's what I do. And of course, I use these kind of devices. I listen and then I ask my learners to tell me what you understood. And then based on that, we have other interactive activities, which is totally different. This is how you can begin learning the language and begin listening. There are many people who just understand everything. They read a lot, but they may not be used to listening. Some people are really used to listening, but they could be not reading. It's that they are just beginners in reading. So get used to it. Begin taking the toddler steps. Listen to 6-minute podcasts. After that, you can use something different. What is it? Whatever you know. It's already available on your Play Store, Spotify. Of course, you can listen to songs, but do not have the songs running in the background from some other app. You have to go to Spotify. There are so many people who have created different podcasts on language, cooking, daily real life activities, and also I came across different topics like mental health, book summary, such kind of things. So these are real life conversations. Some of them may not sound like conversation. It will be just like people speaking to you in the morning or in the evening when you play this Spotify app. And many of you are familiar with that. You can go for the topics that you like. That is why I'm not suggesting anything. You can go for anything that you like. If you like sports, you can listen to people speaking about sports. And definitely when you listen to topics as these, you will grasp the words, the phrases, the words, the vocabulary, and it is possible for you to listen to the podcast again. Once I used to listen to some podcasts created by different people speaking on mental health, psychology, cooking also, where they really speak about the art of cooking. So you can type something like that and you will have too many options. Go for something that you are able to understand, digest. And after that, you can definitely speak to yourself regarding what you understood. Write one paragraph. The next thing that you have to remember is, after telling yourself what you have understood, write one paragraph. Just write one paragraph, maybe 6 to 8 lines to begin with. You're not going to write the summary. You're going to write about what you really understood, what stays with you. Listen to the podcast twice, thrice, and write what you really understood in your notebook. You don't have to write every detail, even if you don't remember the words and the exact context. Write what you understood. The writing part should be done after 6 to 8 hours. You can also do it after 12 hours, no problem, but don't do it immediately. Some people do it immediately. You can do that if you're used to listening, if you listen every day. But if you listen just once in a while, then it can be really not productive. It may not serve the purpose till you get used to listening. And if you ask me what's the frequency of listening, there are no standard rules for that. You can listen to any content that you enjoy, once in 3 days, once in 4 days. And remember not to avoid your mother tongue. I know that you're listening to a lot of channels and different content available in your mother tongue, but the purity of language is something different. And today many people don't speak with that refined, or we can say pure language. When I say pure language, it's more about using language that is pleasant. Instead of going for slangs and too many colloquial words, that's not going to serve the purpose. Sometimes people break the sentences. They may not communicate the complete thought. And if you have a listener who interrupts you every 3 seconds the minute you begin speaking, that can be really disturbing. You should have the patience to listen, and that works in online sessions because you have the audio, video, and then you have to really wait to understand what the other person is saying. But in real life, even when we speak in our native language, I don't know whether you have observed this, people speak in incomplete sentences, and sometimes the communication will not be even complete, and then they jump from this topic to that topic. And what happens if you're working on a foreign language? This pattern, this behavior creeps in, and then you may feel you don't know English. It's because you didn't go to an English medium school. Perhaps it's because you're not used to English. It's not like that. The habits that you have in any language can creep in. It can be porous. It's like the sponge, from there the water seeps and enters the sponge. It's just like that because you are the person handling the languages. And when I speak about podcasts, I have created something on my Instagram page. There I'm focusing on different topics. Of course, I speak about different topics and do journaling. If you're not interested in journaling, you can just listen to the words because I've given the subtitles and also the transcript of the voiceover in the description. Okay, if you want, I can post it as reels, short reels on YouTube as well. So listen to it, listen to some words, and then if you want, you can refer to the dictionary or you can make different sentences with that. Be clear with your thoughts. Do these activities associated with the podcast, and definitely you're going to do well. And I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. Bye-bye.